Hi everyone, we're going to solve cosine 2x minus 3 cosine x minus 3 minus cosine squared of x equals sine squared of x. Now I'm going to do some substitution, and what I'm going to use is, sometimes we think we're going to use sine, but I want everything in terms of cosine because we have this singular cosine here. So these two right here, I'm going to write, not these two, we want this one and this one we're going to rewrite. So how we're going to rewrite it is we're going to say cosine of 2x, and I want this everything in terms of cosine. So cosine of 2x, the only one that really has just one cosine for my double angle is that. So that's what I'm going to write. 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1 minus 3 cosine of x minus 3 minus cosine squared of x equals, now for this one, I know that sine squared x equals 1 minus cosine squared of x, because sine squared plus cosine squared x equals 1. So now I'm going to write that in. So that's going to be 1 minus cosine squared of x. Now again, the reason I changed everything to cosine is because we had this singular cosine that we couldn't do anything with. So now let's move everything over to the left-hand side and set this to 0. So these two right here are going to cancel out. So let's just cross those out. And then, so we have 2 cosine squared of theta minus 1 minus 3 cosine x minus 3, and then subtract the 1. So finally we have 2 cosine squared of x, or theta. These are supposed to be x's, so let's just go ahead and change them real quick to x's. I usually like x's, theta's better. Alright, so x, and this all equals minus 5. No, this one and those two is minus 5. So we have minus 3 cosine of x minus 5. And that's going to equal 0. Now let's factor. So we have 2 cosine x and cosine x. And I need a 3 in here, so I'm going to put the 5 here, the 1 here. Remember, 5 is prime, so it has to be 5 and 1. And I need my bigger number to be negative. So this will be positive. Set this to 0. So for this one, we get cosine x, when you set this to 0, is 5/2. For this one, you get cosine of x equals negative 1. This is impossible because cosine of x is adjacent over hypotenuse. And adjacent has to be smaller than hypotenuse. So we have to disregard this one. And then cosine of x equals negative 1. So that means x has to be pi. And that's it. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.